I'll cater.
From the producer.
To buy, let alone insure, well now you can. And what about this for a lovely example?
What a little beauty, a Talbot Sunbeam Lotus.
Yes indeedy.
This was the first ever hot hatch, and in its day it was a real high performance little car, 150 horsepower of rear wheel drive action.
Indeed, all courtesy of course of that Lotus 2.2 litre twin cam 16 valve engine, which went on to go into things like Lotus Esprits and all kinds of good stuff.
This was destined to be a rally car. They wanted to have something really special to go rallying. They had to homologate 400 cars, so this is where it started, and Henry Toivonen went on to win the World Rally Championship in one of these.
Of course, the rally versions were even more powerful. They went up to 230, 240 brake horsepower.
Which, if you think about it, in those days, rear-wheel drive, that's huge power.
Well, even the standard car, you know, 0 to 60 on this, 0 to 60, 7.7 seconds. What I like is this is the Mark 1, and they all came in this classic colour, black and silver. I remember there was one that was in a village near me down in Cornwall, it's in Day, and I drove by it one day, didn't really realise what it was, saw the Lotus badge, thought, oh, that's a bit weird, went back, picked up my old Watt car, read through it and realised I'd seen a real piece of kit.
What would this have cost you when you were a teenager?
When I was a teenager, well, let's put it on the screen here. Okay, now this is a 1979 on a V. Back then, this car would have cost you around £7,000. Mind you, it didn't last long because these cars were phased out early 80s, so it only ran for about 3 years.
They only had about less than 2,500 of these produced.
Yeah, and a lot of them rusted away. I mean, even this one's got a little bit of rust around here, around the quarter lights. But the good thing is now these cars are starting to be appreciated, so I'm sure this one will continue to be loved and cherished and restored. That said, you can pick up a really nice example now for around £6,000, and if you're prepared to go for something a little bit more edgy than this, even £4,500.
Is that going to go up?
I can't see it going anywhere else. You remember last series we talked about the Integrale, that Lancia Integrale? Four-wheel drive, again, kind of a rally car and all that kind of good stuff, but left-hand drive. Now those cars are fetching about 10 grand, so I think this car's still got some way to go because it's as important as that Lancia Integrale.
Do you drive it and enjoy it, or do you stick it in a garage and just look after it?
I'd have to drive it. I couldn't resist one of these if it was mine.